Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is IAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because one thing I'm going to cover today is what's in that one big, beautiful bill. And is it just for the billionaires or for the rest of us? And I'm going to answer all of that for you. Cut through and clarify what's in that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Got any questions? Feel free to email me. First things first, guys, it's going to give a permanent extension to the 2017 tax cuts, which basically will include a 20% deduction for small businesses to stimulate the economy. Okay? It's going to eliminate the tax on tips, the tax on overtime, and the tax on your Social Security. That's in there, guys. Okay, how's that a billionaire tax? Right there. It's going to increase the SALT deduction, state and local taxes. That's what they call the SALT deduction. It's going to increase this and cap it to $40,000 for households that earn under $500,000. Well, that sounds like, isn't that a fat cat tax? And well, no, it's for people under $500,000. Okay? 5% tax on remittances. Okay? Imposes a new tax on money sent abroad. One thing that we have here in Southern California a lot is you walk into a liquor store, you walk into a convenience store, and you can send money to Mexico, to Peru, to every place else, and they have very low fees for that. And they do this, and they sell phone cards still and things like that, so you can call out of the country and it's fairly inexpensive. Well, they're going to start charging a 5% tax on that. Oh, that's terrible. No, it's to bring money into the government. That's what that's for. So, tax exempt for private university endowments. They're going to raise taxes on the endowments. The bill has $150 billion, for border security, and $150 billion for extra defense spending. And again, you can look that up. Medicaid, Medicare is not going to have any deductions. You're not going to lose anything. It's not cutting anything except if you are not from this country. If you are a foreign person and you are here, you're not getting Medicaid and Medicare. That's going to be eliminated. Okay? So if you're a U.S. citizen or you're here legally, as with a green card, you're going to get your Medicare and Medicaid paid for. Understand? So that hasn't been eliminated. Oh my gosh. They're going to cut it. The Republicans are going to cut it. It's ridiculous, guys. This is in there. Okay? So, elimination of federal direct subsidized loans. Each subsidized loans for undergraduate students, shifting financial aid dynamics. Listen, the financial aid, they're going to start eliminating foreign financial aid benefits. Now, please understand this. There's people that come from other countries that are fantastic people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that there's certain people that you're going to have to qualify. And there's still going to be these programs out there, but you're going to have to qualify for that. Investment in border infrastructure, that's going to be there. So $50 billion for that. Rollback of the green energy incentives. Solar energy, kablooey. It's going to go away. You're going to see problems with that. So it's going to cut back the tax credits. It's going to reduce new ways to reduce government expense on that. And I'm telling you, they're going to get rid of it all the way around. You know, I just saw a great article, and I was walking by a restaurant, and the guy had his paper out, the local paper, and it said that the EV sales are down a ton, and the biggest problem is that people are worried that they're not going to have the incentives. Well, guys, if you have to buy a car and get a $7,500 tax incentive to buy your car, don't buy the car, guys. Save money, okay? So, expansion of domestic energy production. Yeah, if you're in the energy space, guys, you're in for a windfall. If you're into exploration, you're into mining, you're into drill baby drill stuff, I mean, that's going to be huge for you right now. So the other thing about the Medicaid, Medicare cutbacks is, you know, when you go out and you start a company and you have you want to get paid back by the insurance companies, that's the ultimate goal. The problem that you have is that you have such fraud in that right now. You know, my late girlfriend's parents, when they were both around, we would have packages delivered. I'm like, why the hell is this medical company sending you a walker? You don't need that. I don't know. They called and said I was eligible. and that they were going to send it out. Well, they probably billed the insurance company, $1,800 for something that cost $150. So, that's just terrible. Well, they're cutting back on the doctors. They're cutting back on these guys getting that money. That's eliminated. Again, no billionaire tax in this thing, guys. It's just not there right now. So what else? Oh, a couple things that are absolutely huge. One thing the Biden administration did was they did this thing called Form 1099-K, and I talked about this a few times over the last couple of years. If you go out and you sell products, eBay, Etsy, garage sales, I like to sell bike parts, and you sell over $600 worth of stuff, you're supposed to report that on your taxes. And if you sell to one place, or even if your lady's sitting around a restaurant table and you do it enough and you use your Venmo and your Zelle and stuff like that and you get over $600 in transactions, you could technically get a 1099-K where you're supposed to justify that expense and that money coming into your account. So originally it was set at $20,000 and 200 transactions. So if you had less than $20,000 in sales, and less than 200 transactions, you didn't have to report that. That's what this new bill does, is it goes back to that, which is insane. If you want to start a side hustle, it's fantasy land right now to do this. Now, please understand this, okay? And I'm telling you this. If you have a side hustle and a business, do the appropriate things. Go file a doing business as form in your county and go out and run it like a business. Even if it's, Sherry, Smith doing business as, really cool mugs. Go out and get a checking account separate. Go out and keep track of your deductions and your expenses. Then it is a business, and then you can write this stuff off. I'm not giving you tax advice, but I'm telling you to pay your taxes, because what you don't want to have happen is if a new administration came in and then they change it back to the $600 again, you don't want to sell $18,000 for the stuff and be caught holding the bag, having to pay taxes on that. That is a huge, huge thing. Form 1099-K. And again, people that buy things with livestock, buy fish, buy feed, buy things in farming communities, they do this stuff all the time in cash. Well, imagine, people not keeping track of that. So I'm telling you guys, keep track of it. And you'll be able to deduct it and talk to your accountant. Don't talk to Dan when it comes to this stuff. I'm not giving you advice on that. So, the other thing is cars that were manufactured here in the United States, you're going to deduct, think about this, $10,000 in interest on an auto loan for a car manufactured here in the United States. That is great, guys. You think you're going to go out and buy that Ford, that Chevy, whatever, Bronco, you can deduct up to $10,000 of your interest on that. That's great. I mean, so that's in there, guys. Now, could this change? Yes, this could change with the Senate, but the Senate has said, we might see a 10% elimination of certain things. So generally, we're going to see the majority of this stuff change. Mortgages originated after December 15th, 2017, interest is deductible for loans up to $750,000 for single filers and married couples. For married filing individuals, it's $375,000. Now, you're going to be able to deduct up to $1 million in mortgage interest. Okay? Loans up to $1 million and the interest associated with that. Okay? So, there's a thing called reimbursement with the insurance companies. That was the biggest scam. And they're shaking down on these doctors that have taken advantage of us. How does anybody have a problem with that? When you hear about grandma or somebody elderly getting fleeced by these companies sending out knee braces that they charge the insurance company $2,000 for, and they cost $40. That was the big thing. The other thing was when you run a biotech company or med tech company or medical device company, the goal is to be able to create something that the insurance companies are going to write a check for, which I totally get, and it totally makes sense. But the idea is you don't want to, fake it and say, oh yeah, look at all this. Let's call grandma and have her answer her phone. Most people that have landlines are 150 years old, like my late girlfriend's parents were, okay? So they would have all that crap sent to them, and it was just billed, and finally we had to disconnect the phone because it became such a problem, okay? You're going to be able to itemize deductions. It's going to be Various states are going to have different aspects to that. But again, guys, how is that for the wealthiest? Seriously. Now I understand. Oh, Dan, you're showing your side and who you voted for, and it's terrible. No, you know what I am? I'm for you guys. And I told people 1,000 times on this channel, our political party is a small business person. You may not own a business right now. Your situation may change over the course of 2025 to where you have to start a business. Honey, we're going to have to sell something to make some money to pay our bills. Okay? That's great. But you want to be able to be ahead of the game and get every tax advantage that you can that you're entitled to. So look into this, okay? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, email me anytime about this stuff. And again, just wanted to update you on it. The links will be below on this and the explanation will be below on it. Now, it's just for Elon and his friends and the oligarchs. Introduce me to an oligarch, by the way, okay? Come on, guys. It's just getting ridiculous at this point, okay? We need to win. The middle class needs to win. The middle class is getting fleeced and destroyed right now, and hopefully this will help us a little bit so that we can get a small victory here and there, okay? Again, the email address is hello@iallegedly.com, and I'll see you soon.